What if I told you that your memories are lying to you? Remember when Mandela died in the 80s? What about the line from Star Wars, "Luke, I am your father"? Or that famous Berenstain Bears book from your childhood? Millions of people around the world swear they remember things one way, only to find out they're wrong. This isn't just a few people forgetting random details. This is something much deeper, and it's happening to all of us. Today, we're diving into one of the most fascinating and downright bizarre phenomena of the human mind, the Mandela Effect. Named after Nelson Mandela, whose supposed death in the 1980s sparked global confusion, this concept explores why large groups of people share the same false memory. Is this proof of parallel universes? A glitch in the Matrix? Or is it just a quirk of our brains? Let's explore some of the craziest examples, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start questioning your own reality. So, the Mandela Effect gets its name from none other than Nelson Mandela. A huge number of people around the world remember him dying in the 1980s while he was in prison. Some even recall watching his funeral on TV. But, as we know, Mandela actually lived until 2013. So why do so many people remember something that never happened? This is where the idea of collective false memory comes into play. Psychologists believe that sometimes our brains fill in the blanks with what feels familiar or logical. However, some people think it's more than that, like we might be slipping in and out of parallel realities. Sounds crazy, right? Let's look at more examples to see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Here are some examples that have people second-guessing their entire childhoods. First up, the famous Berenstain Bears. Most of us vividly remember the popular children's book series as Berenstain, with an E, but the actual spelling has always been Berenstain, with an A. How is that even possible? Here's another one, the Monopoly Man. Quick question, does he wear a monocle? If you said yes, guess what? You're wrong. The Monopoly Man has never had a monocle, yet a lot of people remember him with one. Are we just mixing him up with Mr. Peanut from the Planters logo? Or is something else going on? Okay, this one's for all you Star Wars fans. Remember Darth Vader's iconic line, "Luke, I am your father"? Well, that's not what he actually said. The real line is, "No, I am your father." But ask anyone on the street and they'll probably give you the wrong version. Here's one for the Pokemon fans. Do you remember Pikachu's tail having a black tip at the end? A lot of people do, but it never did. Pikachu's tail has always been plain yellow. So why do so many of us recall that little black tip? Many people remember the air freshener being spelled Febreze with 2 E's, but the actual spelling has always been Febreze with just 1 E in the middle. A lot of people swear they remember the peanut butter brand as Jiffy, but it's always been Jif. Some think people may be mixing it up with Skippy peanut butter, but that doesn't stop the confusion. This one trips up a lot of people. Many recall the cartoon being called Looney Tunes. After all, it's about cartoons. But in reality, it's Looney Tunes, as in music tunes. It doesn't feel right, but it's true. You know that epic Queen song, "We Are the Champions"? Many people recall it ending with the iconic line, "of the world," at the very end. However, that line doesn't actually conclude the song. The ending is much more abrupt than people remember. Do you remember there being a hyphen between Kit and Cat on the logo? Many people swear it was Kit Kat at one point, but it's always been just Kit Kat with no hyphen. Star Wars fans, get ready for this one. Many people remember C-3PO being entirely gold in the original trilogy. But actually, C-3PO has a silver leg from the knee down in A New Hope. Geography buffs might remember New Zealand being located northeast of Australia. However, in reality, New Zealand is actually southeast of Australia. The confusion over its location is one of the most commonly cited Mandela Effect examples in the geography realm. This one is famous. A lot of people vividly recall a movie from the 1990s called Shazam, starring the comedian Sinbad as a genie. But this movie never existed. Many speculate that people are confusing it with the movie Kazam, which starred Shaquille O'Neal. Still, some are convinced they saw Shazam. The famous line from E.T. the Extraterrestrial is another example of the Mandela Effect that messes with people's memories. Many people remember E.T.'s famous line as, "E.T. phone home," but the actual line in the movie is E.T. home phone. It's a small switch, but over time, E.T. phone home became the more popular version, making it one of the most iconic misquotes in movie history. Many people remember the evil queen in Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs saying, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all?" However, the actual line is, "Magic mirror on the wall." The altered version has become so ingrained in pop culture that even adaptations of the story use the incorrect version. So what's going on here? Why are so many people experiencing these same false memories? There are a few theories out there, and trust me, they range from scientific to straight-up mind-boggling. The first explanation is that it's all due to cognitive bias and the way our brains store information. Our minds are great at filling in gaps based on what we expect to see or hear. This is known as confabulation, where your brain makes up memories to fit what seems logical or familiar. One of the most influential figures in the study of false memory is Elizabeth Loftus, an American cognitive psychologist. In her experiments, participants watched videos of car accidents and then answered questions. When exposed to subtle changes in wording, like smashed instead of hit, they remembered the events differently, recalling things like broken glass that wasn't actually present. The Diess-Roediger-McDermott (DRM) paradigm is a popular experimental method used to study false memory. In this paradigm, participants are given a list of semantically related words, such as bed, pillow, dream, and night. When later asked to recall the list, many people mistakenly remember seeing the word sleep, even though it wasn't included. This phenomenon shows how our brains naturally associate ideas and fill in gaps based on context. This technique highlights how groups can develop similar false memories when exposed to related but incomplete or misleading information. Flashbulb memories are vivid, detailed memories of significant or traumatic events, like 9/11, the Challenger disaster, or the death of a public figure. While people tend to feel confident in the accuracy of these memories, research has shown they are often subject to distortion over time. Many studies on flashbulb memories have revealed that large groups of people can develop false or altered memories about the same event, even if it was highly publicized. For example, studies conducted after the 9/11 terrorist attacks found that people who were far from the event often developed inaccurate memories about where they were or what they were doing when the attacks occurred, despite high confidence in their recollections. These errors become widespread, contributing to collective false memories about the event. But here's where things get interesting. Some people believe the Mandela Effect is proof of parallel universes. The idea is that when we experience the Mandela Effect, we're remembering things from an alternate timeline that we once lived in, but have since shifted away from. Wild, right? But if you're into the multiverse theory, this explanation might actually make sense. And then there's the theory for all the Matrix fans out there. What if the Mandela Effect is proof we're living in a simulation, and these false memories are just glitches in the system? A little bug in the code, if you will. Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, but hey, who's to say it's not possible? Are we all just victims of faulty memories, or is there something way bigger going on here? The Mandela Effect has us questioning our reality, and maybe, just maybe, that's the whole point. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. Until next time, stay curious and remember, reality might not be as stable as you think.